Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Wendy and I'm getting started on our kitchen. So I actually repainted our whole kitchen cabinetry about 2 years ago. Our family did when we first went into lockdown in New Zealand. It used to be a royal blue. You can see the contrast. This is one of the old kitchen doors and this is the colour of the cabinetry now. But if you look really closely, there's a huge amount of marks and stains because the initial paint that we used wasn't good enough. Now the paint we used was basically what we thought would be okay, but it really needed to be hard wearing paint in the kitchen area, especially where there's going to be splatters of oil and lots of fingerprints and all the food and things that always hammer the kitchen pantry cupboards and the drawers. It just wasn't hard wearing enough, and going from the royal blue that it was to the white that it became was just such an outstanding difference in our kitchen. But it definitely showed that it was a job for people that had not done it before. We've done lots of DIY, we've done lots of painting, we've installed new kitchens and cabinets, and we've installed appliances, things like that, but repainting cupboards in the kitchen is another thing. We have chosen a new colour. It's called a rice cake, I think is what I've chosen. It's just another white, but it's a semi-gloss where it's going to be very, very easy to wipe down, just that the oily things aren't going to show up so well. So I actually started this project last weekend. It was Saturday morning and I was going to just clean the kitchen as usual, and I asked James what he thought about getting started on the kitchen cabinets and he said yeah, let's do it. So I've pulled all the kitchen cabinetry off. So all of these have been sanded and they just need to be painted, and I have painted 4 so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's turned out so good. The finish is amazing in comparison to what we've got existing, and so I'm really excited about getting this job done. So we're using this Wagner is what it's called. It's a German word, W100, and James used this on the fence, and so now we're using it inside. And once we've taped up properly and put enough protection around, we're going to do the walls of the kitchen island, and I want to do the inside of some of the shelving that has got no doors on it, things like that. I think that this should be perfect. It just makes everything so super fast. So we've set up a little bit of a protective cocoon in here just so that all of James's things and tools don't get paint spray on them at all. So this is looking really good. Hey James.
Yeah, it's going well.
It's going awesome.
Bit scary.
James at the moment is blowing a few of the bubbles that are coming up from the spray.
One door, I don't know why.
Yeah. This machine seems to aerate the paint a little bit, and so you just need extra water if that's happening. I'll show you the bubbles that sometimes come up. You see those bubbles? But they go and eventually comes to nothing. I've just done plus those, all of those, and all of those little 4 ones over there. Probably taken me 1, 2, well, all these here. Do you reckon it would take me half an hour, James?
It doesn't take very long, eh? It covers really quickly.
Once you get this mix right, which is making sure there's enough water mixed in with the paint, it's a water-based paint, so we add water, it just comes out great. So we're making really good progress, but we're only halfway done. Still got equal amount of doors and drawers to go. Okay, so we're pretty much done. This whole job has probably taken a few hours to repaint all of these. It's just incredible to me. I know how long it took to paint them last time.
Still a massive time saver compared to last time. Like a week, eh?
Oh yeah. It's the best part of a week.
But the prep's a bit more intense.
Yeah.
But still.
I know that tomorrow we're going to do the front of the breakfast bar, we're going to do the end of the art cupboard, we're going to do all the shelving and make sure that that's got a nice glossy coat on it as well, especially the one that goes down beside the stove where all the oil splashes up. I'd love to have like a glass panel there, but it's just not affordable for us right now. It's not something we want to invest in. We don't know how long we're going to be living in this house. It's just a case of getting this done in such a really nice way that we feel proud of the work that we're passing on. So this is a whole lot nicer finish than last time. It's all a bit of a mess right now. We've got drop sheets down, that's been painted, and there's a drip area there where you can see there's drips. And we have done the island here this side and over here, and it looks fine, except for when you look closely, there's a drip. So James is having a shower and he's quite overwhelmed. I'm feeling kind of, maybe I'm in a little bit of denial as to how much of amount of work there is to look at my hands. We've got my mum and dad arriving in 2 days, Wednesday. They don't know what time they're getting here Wednesday, and it's Monday. So I'm going to do sanding and do another top coat on these tomorrow and hopefully get rid of the drips. Trying not to think too much about it because I'm feeling quite happy that it's getting done, and trying to ignore James's panic that we've made a huge big mess and we've got to finish the job and it's a bit bigger than we have time for. Good morning. It is time to head to the shops. James has actually gone off to work for the day. It's Tuesday morning. The kids are on school holidays. They're teenagers. I won't see them till lunchtime at least, I'm sure. So I am going to attempt to get this kitchen done. I'm off to the store now to get some more drop sheets to cover things. I'm in a little bit of panic mode, I must say. A little bit of kind of anxiety about the level of dust and work there is to be done to tidy this thing up. So I'm going to get this done today. I really am going to get this whole thing sorted. There's drips in about 6 different places where there shouldn't be, so I've got to sand things back and I've got to get them repainted again with a light coat. I've got my parents arriving tomorrow with my 2 little nephews, so this really has to get done.
You had me at a low, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. You can ride all the blue. I wanna do what you want to. We can leave and run away someday, someday.
Okay, so that's looking all good and covered, because I've got to sand and repaint that end. Got to sand and repaint these, and potentially in this one as well, the end here. I'm going to paint the bottom kickboards all along there. 2 flies buzzing around, and James says that this in the back here is a bit light. It wasn't quite even, it's a bit rough, so it'll be really hard to clean if I don't get enough paint on the back there. And this one here looks good. See, it's just got runs there that are noticeable, really noticeable to me. So I'll see how the other ones come up when I sand them and repaint them. It might be easier than I think. Covered, 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 covered. Everything's covered, 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 covered. So I have a few concerns. One is I don't know what the kids are going to do when they come out and have breakfast. I might have to send them uptown to go and eat their breakfast, maybe. And I had another concern. Recycling goes out the window when you're renovating. That's another thing I've been thinking about. Look at all this plastic. So I'm going to get to painting, but I'm going to put my camera away so that it survives. I don't even know how my camera's still surviving after all of this, but I'm going to keep it alive a little bit longer by hiding it for now. Okay, I don't actually know what time it is, but look at me. I'm covered in paint. All of the paint that I need to do, except for the breakfast bar or the kitchen island. But I'm nearly there. I'm desperate to have something to eat. But as you can see, the kitchen is not conducive to me having anything to eat. I wish I'd prepared my breakfast before I got started. This is clean, by the way. The spray is incredible. But I feel so empowered. I feel so capable that I can do this. But I also know that it's possible because James has the correct tools. He has the sander that's really easy to use. He's got all the drop sheets. He's got all the tape. He's kind of set me up for success. So thank you, James. Trying to master this little spray gun is quite tricky in small confined areas and for little detailed bits, but I think I'm doing okay. I'm quite a details person, so I like the finishings looking good, but even so, I think this is going to be like a 90 out of 100. It's not going to be perfect, but it's like 10 times better than it was. Done. And now we wait. Let it dry and we see what the finished product looks like. There's no running in the really important places. I think there's a little bit of running around where the kickboards are. I might just have to sand those and paint them by hand. Anyway, I'm going to let it all dry now. So I'm just making myself something to eat, and I just got a message that my mum and dad and my 2 nephews are coming a day early. Got ahead of the things that they needed to do. Sorry, I got my earbuds in. And they're on their way. How exciting! It's not going to work with all the sheets up, so hopefully in about an hour I'm going to start packing things down and it's all going to be okay. So we're packing it all down and we're assessing the mess. It looks like the kickboards around the bottoms are the biggest culprit. The paint has just quietly dripped, and there are a few drip marks that I'm going to have to sand and repaint, but a lot of that paint has dripped under the tape and onto the floor. But it's water-based paint, and I think that if I clean it up straight away, it'll be fine. So I'm just going to keep getting on with that. We're hoping to tidy it up properly and get it all put back together before Mum and Dad get here. Or the majority of it put back together. Just want this whole living space put back in order and functional. Everything's got like a film of dust on it. Look at that, it's on everything. Yeah, I'm vacuuming. And we'll have to make sure it's off everything. Probably have to wipe everything down. There's all the cupboard and drawers ready to go back on. So I think we've cleaned up enough. There's still some white marks, so I'm going to have to deal with those over the coming weeks. Starting to get the fronts back on. Look, they look so good.
They're professional, eh?
They do, they look professional.
Can you hold this one in place then?
Tutorials here, the tutorials people say about the assignments. They're saying assignments and turn it in. Media studies class is the most like...
Getting there. Slowly. Still got all of those to go. Hey there everyone, it's been a while. So the last I saw you, my parents arrived, and throughout the evening we continued to put the drawers on the fronts, but I didn't want to attempt to get any of the paint off the floor or do any of the really final finishing details while my mum and dad were here. The terps, when you get it out, it's really smelly. My dad's recovering from a hip operation. I just didn't want to stress them out with anything like that. So I waited until they left. Yes, they were here about 4 or 5 days, and then Regan and Emma went on camp. They're due back today, so they've been gone about 4 or 5 days. Also, the following day, James surprised me with a trip to Foxton Beach, and we went out there for a few nights and stayed at a beautiful little batch. But I got back here and I have been hard out trying to get this kitchen finished. That's the dishwasher going. So I wanted to get this done before the kids got back, and I wanted to quickly finish filming this video before the kitchen got messy, because the kids are going to come home and life's going to happen. Tidy for very long. So I'm going to show you the completed kitchen. It's looking really good and the finish is perfection. I'm down here on the floor. I'm going to tell you how it all went. We got it all done and we got it all back on, and there was a few little places where paint had not quite settled properly, and when we were stacking them together to bring them inside or something like that, a little bit of the paint had come away. So yesterday I was able to sand down little bits of the doors and repaint them, and I'm just really happy with the finish. It just looks perfect. All around the edges there were leaks, and just where the paint had leaked through under the tape, and there's a few bits of spray in front of the tape where the drop sheet hadn't covered very well. I'm really happy that I pushed through and did those finishings. Those things are the kind of jobs that get left and you think, I'll do that when I'm finishing off another time, but I know that they don't. So I'm glad that I pushed through and did that now instead of leaving it for when I get to it. So you reckon this cost us a few $100? We bought the paint.
Yes, the paint would have cost at least a couple $100 for the paint, and the sprayer was about $100 for the sprayer.
Yes.
Plus drop sheets and masking equipment and bits and pieces like that, so probably $300 to $400 too, which is pretty cheap to renovate the whole kitchen. Eh?
Yeah, I reckon.
And I'm really happy with the result. The finish is really smooth. The enamel's a nice surface to clean, so
yes,
it looks good. Really
it does look good. I think my biggest takeaway from this was how important it is to prep.
Yeah, well, we're amateurs, so we're learning, and I think if I did it again I would spend more time prepping, especially masking up. Like we sort of half masked some things thinking there wouldn't be as much spray drift as there was, which meant we spent a few bit of time cleaning splotches of paint. This
has got little tiny dots on it, if you can see. You can't see it because the bench is speckled, but yeah, there you go. Like those are dots.
Tiny bits of overspray.
Yeah.
So we would have spent more time covering this whole surface.
Yes.
And just being careful and patient on the prep, especially for spray painting, I think is important.
Yeah. It should be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But we thought we had.
Yeah.
But we hadn't.
Yeah.
The sprayer also was perfect for this type of job.
It is, yes. So it's the Wagner W100 is what we used. And it's good for light projects in small areas. So not so good for painting. Like I was going to use it to paint the walls in the hallway, but I've since worked out that it's too small for that.
It'll take forever.
It'll take forever to go through and do a large wall area with a smaller sprayer like that, which has only got about 100mm wide spray thing. So the upgrade version, if you wanted to do walls, would be a Wagner Flexio or something like that, which has like a 280mm wide spray.
Yes. But the 100mm was perfect
but it was
for all
fine
these.
for this because it's all pulled apart into small bits, and
yes.
we painted it in the garage.
Yes.
The biggest bits were really the cabinets, but even that's not too big, and you're able to do that nicely.
Yes.
So I'm really happy with it.
I had to clean down this kitchen really well with turps, so I was scrubbing that yesterday. It had really fine dots on it, and I've managed to get it all off. I don't think my fridge has looked this clean ever. I had to do the same with the stove. There was a little bit of paint along the top here that I had to tidy off. There's still things I want to do with the kitchen. The backsplash at the moment is what it is, and I'd really love to change it to a subway tile. The other thing I'd like to do is recoat the benches. There's something you can get that would recoat it to look like a stone top bench that I think would be similar to the colour in the cupboard doors. So I'd like to do that, but that's a want, not a need. So thanks heaps for watching this kitchen renovation video. I hope that this has helped you if you're using a spray paint bottle or if you're thinking of repainting your kitchen cupboards. I really know that it is worth it. It's like you're getting a brand new kitchen.